Howdy folks, apologies for the messy desk. Little bit of a different video today. I was planning to do a single longer video on the 70-180. Unfortunately, my videographer called in sick today, so today I'm going to do basically the first half or the first third of the testing I'm going to do on this lens. So today we're heading out with model Honey, and I'm going to put it head to head with its big brother, the 70-200 F2.8. Both native mount, no adapters, no TCs, nothing like that. We're going to be doing portraiture. Maybe we'll see what else we find on the street, because I do want to test the closest focus on this guy. And we're going to be focusing on image quality, so sharpness, contrast, bokeh, all of that kind of good stuff, and handling. So on the street, it'll mostly be filmed with GoPro, then I'll come back in and give you my final thoughts. And of course, I'll be giving you sample files from these guys. I'll pop a link below. You can download those over at learn.mattgranger.com. Whilst you're there, you can check out my Nikon Expert Setup Guide. If you are a Nikon Z shooter, it takes you through every single camera in the system, how to fully customize them, how to get them out of the box and set them up for the style that you like to shoot with, and how to progressively refine it so that you're really making the most of what these complex cameras have to offer you. Check that out, links below. Let's hit the street. Now, we met up to shoot in Hung Hom, which is a suburb right on the waterfront in Hong Kong. It was kind of sunny, but there's a typhoon forecast. We shot away with the two different lenses, and as I said, I am going to give you some downloadable sample files so you can check out the image quality for yourself. But I can say from the outset, in good light, in normal conditions, with plenty of shutter speed to play with, both of the lenses were focusing fast and accurately. There was no issues with misfocus for these kind of slow movement portraits. And the overall experience of shooting with them was really nice. If I had to choose, then yes, the 70-200 is a hair faster in autofocus. We're going to cover this in a second about the hand-holding capabilities thanks to the 70-200 having built-in vibration reduction, but you'll notice it does actually grab the frame in a way that can be a little off-putting. Few more sample shots here as the wind started to pick up, but like Beyonce, it's always good to have a wind machine for your hair, I suppose. Again, not much difference in terms of the experience of shooting with them, other than the 70-180 is a little bit lighter. Next up, I wanted to do a hand-holding test with both of them at 135mm. Now, as I said, the 70-200 has built-in vibration reduction. I was reliably getting shots at a 30th of a second and a 25th of a second, and probably 50% of the shots at a 20th, and a few shots even at 1/15th of a second. Stepping to the 70-180, it's not a bad experience because the Nikon Z9 has great IBIS already. I was reliably getting shots at an 80th, probably most of them at a 60th, a few at a 50th, and even one at a 40th and a 30th. Overall though, I'd say it's about a stop and a half behind. Next, I wanted to compare the close focus capabilities of these two lenses because the 70-180 lets you focus really close. First off, these are the two shots with them at the same distance, so you can see this is a 180 shot, and then this is what I can get at 200mm with her and I both not moving. Next up, this is the closest I can get at 70mm with the 70-200 and 70mm with the 70-180. Here's 200mm on the 70-200 and 180mm on the 70-180, again focusing as close as we're able to. Finally, we went to the waterfront to get some moving focus tests. As soon as we got out there, it started to rain, so she grabbed the umbrella, and as soon as we got the umbrella, the rain disappeared, but the wind picked up, and hilarity ensued. that was a fairly fun shoot despite Hong Kong's wild weather at this time of year. I have a quick favor to ask. If you guys have been following for a while, you would know that I have two education schools, learn.mattgranger.com and learn.artnudeportraiture.com. I have an Instagram account for each of my profiles, and my Art Nude Portraiture account just got shut down a couple of weeks ago with no warning. I had followed all the rules and everything, but there's no way to appeal it, and it's gone. So all of those followers are lost. But I've made a second page, which is Sensual Portraiture, and I'm going to start repopulating that one. So if you're on Instagram and you're interested in learning the art and craft and technique of creating beautiful artistic nude portraits, then follow that. The page itself will be, following the guidelines, so it's not going to contain full nudity, so it's kind of safe for work. If you're interested in learning more, you can check out the actual website. There'll be a link to that in the description below, and I have some really cool new courses coming there soon. So taking a look at the two lenses, I have to say I enjoyed shooting with both of them, and from my first hands-on, I'm happy to say I do think the 70-180 is going to work for a lot of people. Yes, having no in-lens stabilization means you're, I would say, with good technique and a steady subject, maybe about a stop and a half behind what you get combining the lens and camera stabilization of the Z9. But if you're shooting in bright sunlight or at a fast enough shutter speed where you're able to avoid being down at low shutter speeds, then it's not going to be such a big issue for you, depending on your hand holding technique. In terms of image quality, download the sample files for yourself. They're actually over at the learn.artnudeportraiture site. I think they're both looking really good, and for the money, both doing great. For the money, probably the 70-180 is better value, but the 70-200 does have better sharpness in the in-focus areas, I think better contrast across the frame, and a more pleasing bokeh, as you can see in a couple of different samples here. The focus acquisition and tracking is good on both of them. Probably great on the 70-200. I think it is still a hair ahead. You have to expect there's going to be advantages when you're paying twice the price, right? In terms of overall handling, not a lot, but a little bit of zoom creep possible on the 70-180. You can only lock it in the 70 spot. You can't lock it at other positions to tighten it up. It is that much lighter, but as after disclosure, I'm used to shooting with 70-200. So as someone who then puts my camera mounting point onto the tripod foot and then has that around my shoulder, it balances really nicely. So this not having that, I need to keep the mounting point on the bottom of my camera, and then actually walking around with it, it kind of jiggles and feels a little bit less balanced. But if you're, if you feel the extra few hundred grams of weight, and if you would, what's a good example? If you would choose a Z8 over a Z9 just because you're saving a couple of 100 grams, then choosing the 70-180 over the 70-200 is probably also a good choice too. You're saving money, you're compromising on the performance, but you are getting that size and weight savings. Both great lenses. I have seen your comments and suggestions of what you'd like to see tested, so I do have at least one more video coming, and I'm planning to get more lenses, TCs, all kinds of stuff in different subjects that will go through and hopefully answer even more of your guys' questions. Let me know if you have any specifics. Download the sample files. If you're on Instagram, do me a favor and help me catch up my follow count on my new page, Sensual Portraiture. Cheers guys, I hope you enjoyed that.